about creating a region for generations, because after all, that's what we all want. Council has said to the CEO that we will leave no stone unturned. We need to consider every single option available to us. Here's why I'm guessing you're all here, not for that little lesson in local government, but I hope you understand that everyone needs to understand the foundation on which we're working on in order to give great feedback. So, the first one we're going to is pools. The status quo of pools are all pools will need replacing in the next 10 years. 3 pools across the region will be in need of replacement within 5 years. We currently operate all the pools at zero revenue to council. The way that we operate the pools is we have a manager in there that we pay to manage the pool, and then they get to keep any revenue that they make from their business model as it is. Interesting information, the pools cost us $650,000 a year just to operate. The state has made a commitment that every single primary school child will have access to swimming lessons. And there's about 22 signatories in that state government commitment. Gayndah and Eidsvold are the pools in the better condition for the 10 years. So what can we do? You will see in every one of these proposals there is an option to do nothing. But every time we do nothing, it doesn't change the bottom line and we still keep going down. So, we can do no change and continue to run 5 pools. We can maintain the 2 better quality pools in Gayndah and Eidsvold and run the 3 others till failure. What does that do to community? Travel. How's our public transport going? How are we going to get people to another town, to another pool? That's a consideration. Swimming clubs. How are the schools going to do their swimming lessons, the promised swimming lessons from the government? I've also had a lot of interest in disability support and how's rehab going to happen? How's exercise going to happen? Where the hell are the kids going to have their birthday parties? Those kind of things are the consequences to community. The consequence to council is, of course, we will save money. We can also only operate two pools in the region. There's some of our suggestions. We have costed these. However, contrary to popular belief, we are after your suggestions. Can we do this another way? Contrary to popular belief, we haven't made a decision yet. God, we've had some debates already. Not a decision has been made. I said C stands for challenging the status quo, and it also stands for civic duty. We, as your councillors, represent you. Guess what? We're also community members. We were such passionate, mouthy community members that we decided to get ourselves elected to do something about this council. Imagine that. We read social media. We try not to because it's bad for our mental health, but we do. The great thing about social media is that it comes with names and photos. So we have seen all the comments. Therefore, if you don't like this or any other of the proposals, you need to do something about it, because we cannot continue this fight without you. There has never been a better time to let us know what you're thinking. There has never been a more important time to let the state government and the federal government know what any of these proposals would mean to you personally, your family, your business, or your industry. Moving on to the next one, waste. So, the status quo on waste. In 2019, the state government brought in new legislation called the Waste Levy. What that does is, and what it was to do with, is it is towards a zero waste future. They do not want us to produce any waste into the future. So they're making it very uncomfortable for us to dispose of waste. Currently, we are paying the state $80 a tonne for every tonne of waste that is buried in our landfill. We are in the third year now, so it started in 19, 20, 21. For the first 3 years, the state said, we will give you that money back to help you set up all the things that you need to abide by this legislation. One of the things that we needed is we needed a weighbridge, because how does the state know how much to charge us unless they know how much we actually buried? Therefore, we had to install weighbridges in all our landfills. The problem was, each weighbridge costs about $350,000. So instead of spending that money, we decided to go to transfer stations in all but Mundubbera. The reason for Mundubbera is that it had the most space for rubbish going forward. It was also quite central. So, that is why you have gone to a transfer station. A whole lot of legislation has happened since 2019. After this year, we stopped getting the money back from the government. Therefore, 6,000 tonnes of waste times $80, and that's predicted to go up in $5 increments, will have to be paid to the state, so almost $500,000 next year to bury our waste. What councillors found when we asked the CEO to investigate waste across the region was very inconsistent levels of service. And we also found that we were averaging only 4 cars an hour at all our facilities, and the optimum number was 10. Once again, we can choose to do nothing, or we can choose to increase efficiency. Now, I was a previous business owner, and any increased efficiency was what we always wanted, because otherwise your business would fail. You had to get those savings wherever you could. Council in this case is no different. We have a legislative responsibility, as I said in Principle 1, to run an effective and efficient council. That means making business decisions. People in this region have told us, you need to run council more like a business. This is what it means. So, to increase efficiency, the consequence to community would be that we have consistent hours. Of course, those hours are going to be less because we're trying to funnel as many people through in less time. So, what it would mean to you, you'd have to plan ahead. This is our waste proposal that we've played with. Mundubbera has the same hours because it has to be open to receive and process everyone's rubbish. That is why. There still will be some times that they're closed to community in that. Mount Perry, Islesville, Gayndah, Monto, Mundubbera, you will see have changed from a very varying service delivery standards to everyone has 12 hours. The reason for that is that this council decided everyone was going to suck it up equally if we had to do this. Everyone gets weekdays and everyone gets, everyone gets some weekdays and a weekend. However, we want to know how this works. Does it work? Can you find another way? Is the day bad? Once again, you've got it on your paper. If you don't like it, do something about it. You have seen the rock and a hard place that we're up against. We can't, if I go and speak to a minister, they know me. They know me very well. I'm not saying anything different to what I've been saying the last 5 years. I probably got better at the argument, and they've probably got better at ignoring me. Therefore, unless the worst thing for this council is that we put ourselves on the line and do this tour. And make no mistake, you've got to have guts to do these tours. If we put ourselves out there, if I go and do all the media to get us attention over every other council in Queensland who will be fighting this fight in the next 2 years, I will guarantee you. If we do that and there's no one bloody behind us, then we've already failed. These meetings were purposely designed so that you get up and you do something with us, because we cannot do this without you. The third one, customer service and libraries. We have found in our efficiency, just making sure I'm on time, found in our efficiency that not all our centres are busy all the time. Go figure. It costs us $70,000 to keep some of them open on Saturdays, and it costs us $1.3 million overall. Once again, we can choose to do nothing, or we can change the level of service, meaning we can change the hours that our libraries and admin centres are open. Councillors asked and said, can we have a proposal where we still get full days of service rather than part days of service? Councillors also asked for a proposal where we could still offer things like seniors, IT education and the early learning reading and things like that, the school holiday program that we just ran. Or we could change the services we offered within the library. This is the proposal that councils looked at, and what this proposal did is grouped towns together so that hopefully we could keep staff who were willing to move between the two. So for Bigoton, Tuesday, Thursday, the admin centre and the library with this proposal would be open. Does that suit? Does it not suit? Why not? What would suit? What do you want? No changes. You can choose no changes, but you just also have to be willing with the consequences that that may mean down the track. Once again, you've got to actually leave this meeting and do something about it.
The next one, and this is the biggest change in all the proposals that we're offering. It's the way we do road maintenance. So the status quo is currently we are only maintaining a third of our road network. It's going to come to no surprise to anyone in this room. We can only get to a third. If you stretched out our road network, it runs from Brisbane to Perth in a straight line. We are currently only maintaining 33% because we grade, water and roll. Why do we do that? Because it's industry standard. It is what you're supposed to do. What are we proposing to you? We're proposing that we don't water and roll, that we just grade. What you will see with the dry grading is that everyone would see a grader at least once a year. Is it industry standard? No, I'm not telling you it is. But it actually means that we deliver a service across our whole network. There's also plant savings, as in you wouldn't need a roller or a water truck. There's also staff issues, meaning you wouldn't need a water truck or a roller. If you don't like this, you need to tell us, but further, you need to tell someone else, the main roads minister. the local government minister, because the reason we can't get to all our roads is that we do not have the money to get to all our roads. We do not have enough ratepayer income to get to the 12th longest road network in Australia. Out of the 537 councils in Australia, we have the 12th longest that we are solely and wholly responsible for. That's the problem. This was an interesting little bit of information when we said, cast the net wide. What do we mow? We currently mow land that is not owned by council. We find that a bit silly. Why do we do it? There might be a myriad of reasons. We've only just found this, and it's got already potential savings of $300,000. However, we're just alerting you to it, because there might be legacy arrangements that we haven't investigated. And what happens if we stop mowing state land? Does that mean that they automatically mow it for us? No. So if we stop, we need the community to understand the state may decide to let it grow. Then that may encourage vermin. It may be a fire risk. We know that there's consequences to our community with every decision we make, but we're alerting you to this fact that we're actually mowing someone else's property. Once again, with this one, we're sort of after a, do you support this in principle? Or do you want us to further investigate it? And the last one is a consistent model for showgrounds. So in our show societies, or showgrounds, we have 3 models across the region. Mundubbera has a privately owned model, which allows you to be masters of your own destiny. The other privately owned model is in Bigoton. You guys don't cost council anything, and we thank you for that. The issue is, the 2 other models, one is leased straight from the state government and one is leased through council. They do cost council, and it also restricts their ability to do things. So they can't have the camping that you have in Mundubbera, etc., etc. So we're just looking for, should we try to speak to the state government, because this is state government led, should we try to speak to the state government about a regionally consistent model? So the goal, second goal tonight, was that you would be inspired to help us. And it's really, really sad when us as councillors work every day for our community, because you know what? We were so passionate, we were so concerned as a community member that we decided to put our life where our mouth was. And we have the best interests of the community at heart because we are community. We need to work together. You need to back us because we're backing you. So, we've also got a petition. And we have a petition for a particular reason. Since COVID, councils across Queensland have been told that they need to start tightening their belts. The state and federal governments have spent a lot of money on COVID, what's it called? Not sustenance. on COVID recovery. We need to draw the states and the federal government's attention to the issues that we have. So if you just bear with me. The petition of citizens of Queensland draws to the attention of the House the grave inequities which currently exist for local governments to deliver services, and in particular the capacity of the North Burnett Regional Council to deliver what would be considered by a Queenslander an adequate level of service delivery. It is the petitioner's concern that in the pursuit of financial sustainability, North Burnett Regional Council will leave an unsustainable community in its wake. The current financial system, which expects councils to balance their costs with revenue earned from rates, fees, charges and levies, is unfair, unequal and socially unjust. The North Burnett community deserves to know within the next 12 months where the future of its region is headed. Residents deserve answers which may define if they continue to live in the area and tolerate inadequate service delivery, which have now resulted in job losses, impacted livability and increased levels of risk to community. Your petitioners therefore request the House to define and cost an acceptable Queensland standard of service delivery in regards to water, wastewater, roads and waste, and make the financial sustainability of Queensland local governments a priority. We also alert the state to 1 in 3 local government areas who may share our concerns. Now the reason I say 1 in 3 is because last week, and it's no coincidence that we are running these at this time of year. Last week, the Queensland Audit Office released their report into financial sustainability of local governments in Queensland. 25 out of the 77 councils are at high risk of becoming financially unsustainable, and we are one of them. A third, I don't want anyone to think that Council does not have a significant role to play in fixing this ourselves as well. Council has a lot of efficiencies to gain, and we can only do that through continual business improvement. This is a list of all the things that councillors have said to the staff that we want investigated for efficiencies. We have a lot of work to do. We've started getting our ducks in a row, but hand held up, we also have a lot of work to do. So I said the CBA of how we get out. So we need to challenge the status quo and leave no stone unturned, and you need to enact your civic duty. We need to do business improvement within council so that we understand that we are absolutely running the most effective and efficient council possible. And lastly, advocacy. Now, the petition is one form of advocacy. I also was asked to write a Courier Mail opinion piece, and I hope that goes in sometime this week. You can all do that. You can all write letters to the editor. You can all write letters to ministers. You can ring ministers. You can speak on behalf of yourself. You can speak on behalf of your business. You can speak on behalf of your industry. You can speak on behalf of community. Because I can tell you, the ministers all know me very, very